Come on in, everyone. Come on in because we are here for Ready to Love episode 4. And boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about, y'all. We got a lot to talk about. The episode was called Getting Intimate, and we about to get intimate. You and me together. We're going to have a long conversation because there's so much to talk about. This episode was good for me. This season is not boring. Let me tell you, this season is not boring at all. Who y'all got in the fight? It's like when the big fight come on, like, who y'all got in the fight? Who y'all got in the Super Bowl between Alexis and Koshia? I know most of y'all got Koshia. What did Alexa call her? Koshia. I know y'all got Koshia. I know the majority of y'all, we're going to be tussling down in these comments today. I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. Bring it on. But I got Alexis. I got Alexis in the fight, and I got her for a whole lot of reasons. And let me tell you, Koshia got taken out this episode. She got taken out by two people. She got taken out by Alexis, and she got taken out by Lamar in the end. You know what? I'm finding out with Koshia, she a whole lot of bark and no bite. A whole lot of bark and no bite. But we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it a whole lot. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm going to back up my stuff. I'm going to back up everything I'm saying. So don't come for me yet. Not too soon. Y'all got to hear me out. But we're going to talk about everything that went on this episode. Even Mr. Lamar going home. That scene was wild. When Lamar told Koshia, watch your tone. And you know what she did? She watched her tone. She sure did. Even if it was, she got up and walked away. She didn't get up and walk away like she did Alonzo last week. Y'all notice between the way she treats people. Y'all notice how she tries to sun everybody. I don't know. Koshia says she's only 32 years old, but she acts a whole lot older. She says she was raised to be a mother and a grandmother. No, look at me. Now I'm being shady. She says she was raised to be a wife and a mother, but I'm still trying to figure out Koshia's background. Everybody's digging into Jonathan's background. Everybody, even Mika, who likes to get flued out, is digging in the backyard of Jonathan because Jonathan didn't come out and say that he was married. Well, Mika was the one that said to Jonathan, your baby mama. She was the one that went there first. Tells you a little bit who she is. That she obviously assumed that the woman was just a baby mama. That's your problem if that's the reference point you come from. Another person I'm still sticking with, Jonathan. Y'all gonna be mad at that. I'm sticking with Jonathan. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And let me tell you, even though I see these previews coming up next week, what he does to Alexis, I'm gonna have to figure that out because that don't look good at all. I ain't gonna lie. That does not look good at all. But just for this episode only, until I see next week, I'm sticking with Jonathan. I like Jonathan, and I'm gonna tell you why I say that. And then y'all gonna be mad at me again because I'm about to pick another person I like, Alonzo. I told y'all last week that little showdown with him and Koshia, I wasn't falling on the side with y'all. It wasn't that I didn't know that Alonzo made some mistakes. It's not that I know that Alonzo doesn't have immaturity in him, that he doesn't need to grow up, but I like Alonzo's heart. I really do. I like his heart. I think I like what's deep down inside of him. And this really has been the debate this whole season between whether or not the men were dusties or not good enough for these women. Because a lot of these women they're beautiful on the outside. But when you start digging through on the inside, you're not liking what you see. You really not liking what you see. But the men, on the other hand, I think on the outside, they may not have all been, the Idris Elbas or, I don't know, you young people, who you like, who y'all think is cute nowadays. They may not have been all that on the outside, but let me tell you, some of the men's insides are starting to look better than what we saw on the outside at first glance. The men's first impressions weren't always that great, but some of the stuff on the inside of these men were, look at Will. When we first met Will the first day, none of us liked him. Now, everybody all running up on Will. Don't forget now, Will got two wives and 3 kids, and he ain't told us much about that. So I ain't all the way in Will's court, but I gave him a second chance. And I'm willing to look deeper on Will and figure out what went wrong in 2 failed marriages. I do want to know. I want to know, did he learn his lesson? I want to know what went wrong. I absolutely do. But here we go. We talked about his man hips. We talked about his jagged teeth. But now when you peel back on the inside, it looks like Will might be a nice, sweet person. Now he still might be unstable. We still got to hear about this because I don't know. Has Will even told a joke yet? He said he's a comedian, but we ain't heard one joke come out his mouth. Maybe he just want to be the comedian at the family picnic, at the family backyard picnic. But he can play ball, though. He certainly knows how to play ball, but I don't know about being no comedian. So I don't know. We're going to still have to learn about Will as well. But so far, I'm telling you, I'm liking Jonathan. I know y'all don't like Alonzo, but I love the way Alonzo had that little conversation with Patrice, talking about let's watch this movie on Zoom. It's going to be a date night. I like that sweetness of Alonzo. I like that Alonzo came back once again and apologized to Koshia and said, I really don't want any of this. This is not what I want. I don't want there to be any bad blood between us, any animosity between us. He did it. He stepped it. He did it. He kept the temperature. And even old Pitbull Koshia, I can't even call Koshia a Pitbull. I'm going to call her a Pomeranian. Because did y'all see how short Koshia is? Koshia, I called her Koshia. I'm not trying to shade you, Koshia. Girl, I'm not really. Koshia is like a Pomeranian. She's a Pomeranian. She ain't but about 4'10". That's what she looked like in the show today. She ain't about 4'10", and she's on there on the bottom, nipping at your ankles. Nipping at your ankles. But I like the way that Alonzo planned that date with Patrice. And I like the way that he came back and he apologized to Koshia. Okay. And even Koshia finally, in a moment of sanity, had to admit that, you know what, maybe we were just trying to be right. I told y'all that in my car video. I did. But y'all kept telling me, no, Koshia shouldn't have listened to Alonzo because of who the messenger was. And I think I mentioned it to somebody down there in the comments. I said, you know, sometimes it's your enemies, it's your haters who tell you the truth. Sometimes people who love you too much, they don't really tell you the truth. That's why a lot of people don't grow, because they really don't have no one in their life to tell them the truth. Now, what's the best ideal? It's somebody who loves you but is willing to tell you the truth. That is the best. But some people don't have that in their life. Some people, all they have are people who love them and adore them and people who hate them. So if all you have are people who love you and adore you and want to do nothing but speak positivity into your life all the time, positivity, then where do you get your truth from? You better go get it from your haters. You better go get it from your haters, but you better learn discernment. You don't have to take everything your haters say, but sometimes haters tell you the truth. And let me tell you something. Alexis delivers some truth to Koshia this episode. The hater delivers some truth. And one thing we know about Koshia is Koshia doesn't want anybody telling, she doesn't want anyone telling herself about herself. No. She don't want anyone telling herself about herself. That's why she shut down Alonzo when Alonzo tried to bring a message from the men. Okay, everybody said, well, you know what? Alonzo's not the best messenger. So what if he's not the best messenger? He's also bringing the message from the friends. He's trying to bring the message. She didn't want to hear it. Okay? Next week, we see she going to get in it with Lamar. Lamar's going to be trying to tell her something. And what's Koshia going to do? Cry and say, well, you talking at me. Now she going to be the victim. Now, remember, on the first episode, Koshia was all in the face of Lamar. Remember that little manipulation game she was playing? Talking about, I like to get up in your space. Remember that, y'all? I couldn't stand it the first episode. I want to get up in your space and see if you let me in. Show me your vulnerability. Isn't that interesting? Koshia on the first episode was telling Laron, getting all up in Laron's face, saying, I want to see your vulnerability. I like that you let me get this close to you. She was like, you know why I'm this close to you? She said, well, he said, why? Because you want to kiss me? He said, no, because I want to make you vulnerable. And isn't it ironic that everybody on here now is telling Koshia that she ain't the vulnerable one. Koshia likes to be in charge of everyone. Just like Lamar said, change your tone. I ain't no little kid. And you know what a Koshia knows not to do? You know what the Pomeranian knows not to do? Don't come after no real pit bulls. Don't come after no real pit bulls, because Lamar is a pit bull. And let me tell you, he was rude as hell. But he handled Koshia. Koshia sat up there and did what she should have done when I told her what she should have done with Alfonso. Had some professionalism to what she said. Keep her cool. Keep her cool. You don't have to like what they're saying, but keep your cool. I like the way Koshia did it this time. She kept her cool with fool Lamar, and then when she was done and she didn't want to hear no more, she got up and walked away and took them thorny roses with her. Lamar brought her some thorny roses to the dinner. That man is cold. Lamar is cold. He done had a lot of years of this, a lot of practice of this. Like I tell you, he's been married twice and he's been rude to them 2 wives. And he has had a lot of practice. And you know who didn't want none of Lamar? Koshia. Koshia didn't want to have nothing to do with Lamar, no part of Lamar, because Lamar would have chewed her up and spit her out. She knew she didn't want to get in nothing with Lamar. She knew it. So you know what she did? She sat back and respected him. But she disrespected Alonzo. She didn't like him. She tried to sun him. She tried to sun Alonzo last week. Okay, mushing him in the face. No respect. She tries to sun Laron too. She did that on the first episode, and it looks like she gonna get mad at Laron later on, probably because Laron's going around sniffing up behind Maya now. That's probably why she gonna get mad. And then what she did to try to do in this big old fight with Alexis, she tried to sis her. She tried to tell Alexis what kind of conversation she could have. And Alexis says, oh no, I'm not your little girl. I'm not your daughter. You're not the boss of me. You're not going to tell me what conversations I can have with a man. And Alexis came out with the dukes up. She better be careful. Alexis is used to refereeing basketball games with all men. Alexis knows how to handle Koshia, who's 4'11", but trying to act like she's a man. Alexis knows how to handle her because Alexis has had to deal with a lot of male energy. So Alexis knows how to put down a Pomeranian, and Alexis handled Koshia. Y'all may not have liked it. Y'all may not have liked what it looked like, but Alexis got the job done. And guess what happened? The Pomeranian had to go out and start crying. The Pomeranian had to go out and start crying because you know what the Pomeranian knew in that moment? She was outmatched. All that screaming and yelling she was doing, in the end, she was outmatched. Alexis didn't even get up out her seat. Alexis didn't even move in her seat. Alexis didn't even didn't even lean forward. Alexis could handle a Koshia with her eyes closed. What Koshia likes to do is bark real loud, cause a whole big scene, boss everybody around, but then can't deliver nothing. But I talked about a lot already, but I want to make sure I haven't missed anything because I got a lot to talk about. I still want to talk about Maya. Y'all know Maya was on my top. She really was. I'm going to tell y'all she slipped. She slipped. And any of you guys know, if any of you guys watch this channel, you know when she slipped in my book. When she started talking about Barack and Michelle stuff. And she started talking about, I don't want to settle. Oof. I said, oh, I knew something would come. You just can't be this pretty out here in the world, this put together and still be single like this. I was like, I don't know what's wrong. Maya, the total package. She got, she's smart, she's intelligent, she's beautiful, she's kind. And then she came with this Barack and Michelle, and I don't want to settle. And I said, oh, there it is. She don't know how to negotiate. You know what? I really wish women would stop this story with Barack and Michelle because really it's a partial story. They need to go back and read Michelle's book about her real life with Barack. And I'm not going to say Barack ain't no wonderful person because I'm a Barack fan. But a lot of these women wouldn't have even been with Barack. Barack was broke. Barack was running around in a car with a hole on the bottom of the car. Do y'all listen to the stories from Michelle Obama when she says Barack was a smoker? Most people don't even want to be with no man who smokes cigarettes. Barack was living up in the house with Michelle and her mama and daddy. He wasn't no provider. He wasn't no provider. They were living in the house with Michelle's mama. Michelle writes a whole book saying she darn near hated Barack for darn near 10 years. Barack wanted to be a community organizer. He wasn't on the road to make a lot of money. Sure, he had gone to Harvard. Sure, he was very, very intelligent, but he wasn't on the road to make a lot of money. He wanted to be a community organizer. A community organizer. He didn't make no money for a whole long time. They just paid off their student loan debts when they became president and first lady. A couple of years before then, they just had paid off all those student loan debts from law school. But all these women out here talking about they want protectors and providers, say they want a Barack and Michelle Obama love, but they don't want the beginnings of the Barack and Michelle Obama love. They want the ending. They don't want the beginning. That's what Michelle be pushing back on all you ladies out here. She trying to tell you all the truth. She trying to tell you all the truth, but nah, it's people like out here now, like Maya's of the world, talking about, I want to be a power couple like Barack and Michelle. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. And the truth be told, Obama wasn't even from Chicago. Michelle was. So when Barack started getting plugged in to the inner workings of Chicago, who do you think plugged him in? It was Michelle. Michelle plugged Barack into all the inner workings of Chicago. It was Michelle who led the way. Y'all talking about you want a leader, a protector, provider, the man to do everything, and you're going to ride his coattails. The truth be told, if you really read the book, Barack, sure, he had smarts, intelligence, but it was Michelle in the beginning who helped introduce him to a lot of the shakers in Chicago. That was how he started coming up. Michelle helped lay the foundation. Let me tell you something. There's a story Michelle tells. No, actually not Michelle. Barack tells the story. They went to a restaurant when they were on the campaign trail. Come to find out, the man who owned the restaurant was a man that Michelle ended up going to high school with. High school. I think it's high school. And he comes out and he says, oh, I want to meet them. He comes out and he says, yeah. And Michelle says, oh, I went to high school with him. Look at this. How ironic is this? And Barack leans over to Michelle and says, yeah, see, if you had married him out of high school, you would have been the owner of this lovely restaurant. And Michelle turned around and looked at him and said, no, that's not the story. The story would have been, if I had married him, he would have become president of the United States. But all you women around here think you don't have to do no work in helping to lift up a man, encourage a man, and build a man. You think this man comes like this all on his own, and all you got to do is sit back and reap the benefits because you don't want to settle for nothing more than what you think and what you deserve. I still like Maya. I still like Micah, but I can't be myself. I would be a hypocrite if I keep Maya in my top, because anybody walking around now, I'm telling you right now in 2024, talking about I don't want to settle, they can't be in my top. I still like Maya for the reason that she doesn't put the men down to their face. She's not mean. She's not nasty. She's not talking derogatory about them. In fact, she said to LaRon's face, she's enjoying the experience. She loves having so many wonderful, talented black people, black men around her. She's doing all of that. I love it. I love it. I love it. But she's giving us enough insight that deep down inside, she's making some other judgments. And I'm okay with it. I've told everybody, I don't really care if those are your judgments, but I don't think that you should verbalize them and put people down, right? Have your high standards. Go on over there and have your high standards and say you're not going to settle. But when you come around calling other people names because they don't live up to your standards and you put them down, that's where I draw the line. So one thing I like about Maya is still keeping a sweet disposition. She's kind, she's being cordial, and she's being friendly to these guys, and I'm okay with that. But for her to be walking around talking about I'm not going to settle, she can't be in my top. I like her. I do like her. But I can't really deal with delusion. I can't deal with nobody walking around talking about I want to be Michelle and Barack Obama. First of all, Barack Obama is the first black president in the whole United States. So now that's what you're looking for out here, the second president of the United States. That's delusional. That's delusional. And do I think she really likes LaRon? No, I don't. Just because LaRon sat up here talking about, ooh, I like Maya, we could do great things. Let me tell you what I heard about LaRon that Maya ain't gonna like. Because Maya used them words, provider, protector. And LaRon said, when we put our money together. The minute LaRon said, when we put our money together, we could do great things. That's when I said, oh, that ain't what Maya's looking for. Maya's smart. She's entrepreneurial. She has her business. But what Maya wants is her money, and your money is your money. That's what Maya wants. Maya don't really want her money going to paying all the bills. Maya wants a protector. Maya says, yeah, I want to work. Yeah, I want to be an entrepreneur. Yeah, I want to have my waist trainer line. But my money going to be my money and your money going to be my money. So LaRon started talking that 50-50. I was like, oh, she don't like him. The only reason she kind of likes him is because he's never been married with no kids. And she told William a long time ago that my preference is a man with never married and no kids, or a man with no kids, but it's not a deal breaker. I'm willing to work around it. That's what she's saying. She's saying that now, but that's not really what she wants. I know what she wants. She wants, just like she said, Barack Obama. That's what she wants. That's what she wants. So now she's saying, well, not having children is not a deal breaker. It's a deal breaker for her. It really is. I think it is. I think she's kind of not being truthful about that part. And I guess at this moment, she's going to say LaRon is in her top, because LaRon, even though he's a party boy, which she admitted she knew he was a party boy, but you still want him. Maya. Kind of seeing through it, Maya. I'm kind of starting to really see through it. Pretty soon, she going to have Koshia on her back, because the minute Koshia learns that LaRon has dumped her for Maya, because I'm going to tell you right now, LaRon is dumping Koshia for Maya, because even LaRon said he didn't want no woman with kids. He didn't want no woman with kids, and he was willing to settle for Koshia, because I think he liked the way Koshia looked. And Koshia is 4'11". She's short. Even when she put on heels, he could be taller than her. Because I think LaRon is kind of short, so I think that's why he liked Koshia, because of her height too. But he ain't gonna like Koshia's mouth. He ain't gonna like Koshia's mouth once she starts really getting into it. And we can see next week they're gonna have a little bit of problem. They're gonna have a little bit of problem. Even in the previews, LaRon says, "I think Koshia trying to play me. I think she trying to play me. She definitely gonna try to son you, because I think they close in age, and she definitely gonna try to son LaRon. She gonna try to control LaRon and put LaRon in his place, because she like to boss people around. I'm telling you, she likes to boss people around. In fact, she was already trying to get her fangs in this new guy, Justin. Did y'all like Justin? I like Justin. I like Justin a lot. You can see a little corniness in Justin, the way he had that leash tied around him with that badass dog he got. He got a little corniness in him. But you know what? They must have went to the same school Glenn was from. Glenn, Glenn, the runaway bachelor, he was a teacher too. Maybe Glenn said, you know what? I can't come, but I got a man who teaches here at the school with me. His name is Justin. He'll fill in for me. He'll take my spot. They both teachers at the same school. You know what? I like Justin. He seemed sweet. He seemed kind. He seemed on a mission to get married. He seemed determined. He seemed focused. Why you think Justin's single out here, you guys? Why is he still single? I bet because Justin is sensitive, and he's a school teacher, a PE teacher. And for these women out here nowadays, a lot of women, he don't make enough money because he can't provide. I bet you that's the story. I bet that's the story. But you know who was running up after him at that house? Koshia. Koshia chased, when that doorbell rang and that man knocked on the door, Koshia leaped up out her seat and ran over there and grabbed her some Justin real quick, and brought him around. But I guess she's gonna have to fight with Rashina, because Rashina got her eyes on Justin too. She really do. She got her eyes on Justin. Justin running around here saying, I guess I might have to accept the fact that I may never have any kids. Why you got to accept that, Justin, that you could never have no kids? I guess he's saying because he meet all these women with kids that don't want to have no more. Justin says, I'm late to dinner. By the time I get to dinner, ain't nothing but leftover eggs, leftover wombs. Ain't nothing fresh up in here. I guess I can't have nothing to eat. Is he meeting a lot of women with children? Is he meeting, because some of these ladies, they are young. Koshia, they're young, but they're 32. This is Texas. They done had all their kids. They don't want no more. They don't want any more. And poor Justin's over here saying, maybe I can't meet a woman who still wants to have kids. And as soon as he said that, Mika was like, I'll take them. She should want them. Because you could actually hear in Justin's voice, he wants children. He really wants children. So for these women to say, I'll take him because he said maybe he has to accept the fact he can't have kids. Why would you want to be in this man's life knowing he wants children and you the one holding him back from it? That sure is kind of selfish. But I like Justin. I mean, if you think about it, maybe he should go on over here and be with Maya. But Maya won't want him because I don't think they're going to be no power couple. I don't think Maya looks at a school teacher as a power couple. I really don't. We're going to see, y'all. Let's see if Maya likes Justin. We have seen no scenes between them yet. Maya can redeem herself if I see Maya likes Justin. Justin is good looking. He's sweet. He's kind. Never been married. No kids. Wants to get married. Wants a family. is a dog person. Let's see if Maya even gives him the time of day when she finds out he's a PE teacher. Or is the biggest thing in Maya's life money? Let's see. I really want to see who will actually even give Justin the time of day. I'm going to see if Maya does. I'm going to wait and see. Now that I know a little bit about Maya, I really want to keep my eye on her a little bit. I want to see, is she going to even give Justin the time of day? I hope she does. I really hope she does. If she can at least give Justin a try, a chance, talk to him, anything, she'll redeem herself. But if she just brushes him aside when it sounds like he has a lot of the qualities she wants, if she brushes him aside because he's a PE teacher, I'm going to have to be all the way done with Maya. I really am. I may like her from afar, but yeah, it'll bother me. It will bother me. And then we see that Laylen left. Any of you buying that story about family matters? I mean, everybody got family matters. We all, you know what, any time of the day we need a day off, we can come up with a family matter while we need time off. So I ain't gonna say that she ain't got no family matters. But Laylen said, ain't nobody here I want. Laylen was almost one of the oldest people here. She was like 41. There are no more older men here anymore. Lamar was going home, plus he was a dweeb. The fashion designer DeMonte went home. There's no man even here. Chaz. Chaz is 47, and she already know Chaz don't really like her. She already know Chaz don't like her. She may not even like Chaz. So Laylen said, there ain't no reason for me to stay here. I got a family matter I need to take care of. She said, I'd rather go home and take care of family matters than be coming here every day filming with these people. I don't want none of these men here. None of them were a match for Laylen. They were all a whole lot older, and it wasn't what she was looking for. So she went home and she said, let me get back to work, get my paycheck going, get my money going, take care of whatever I got to take care of, and I'm out. She said, I was out. Hey, what happened to Dominique this week, y'all? Where was Dominique? He must have had some things to take care of, too, because we didn't see him the entire episode. We didn't see him not one bit. Because right now, Mika said that's the only person that she got something in common with is Dominique. Let me tell you something. Mika better be careful. Mika gonna get the manosphere on her. Because let me tell you, this little thing that she's going after Jonathan on, I'm not for that. I'm not for that. I don't know what Mika has in her mind. First of all, Mika was the one that called Jonathan's ex-wife a baby mama. All he didn't do was correct her. It was Mika who said, hey, do you spin the block with your baby mama? It was Jonathan who didn't say, well, she's more than my baby mama. She's my wife. He didn't correct her. I don't have no problem with that. He didn't correct her. But here's the problem I have with Mika. Mika got 2 kids. And I already said I believe Mika's 2 kids are by 2 different men. So I really don't know where in this world Mika has, 1, regulated the ex-wife to a baby mama. That's the world you come from, Mika. And 2 is, how is it that Jonathan not telling Mika that he was married to the woman, which we don't know yet. We don't know yet. She is correct. We don't know if he was the mother of the child or if he was married before. We don't know either one. But how all of a sudden is that any worse than Mika's situation with 2 kids? And this is the thing. I don't want to cast no judgment on Mika. I really don't. But when people got skeletons in their own backyard, and then they try to come for other people's circumstances, this is what I don't like. I don't like people like that. I don't like Mika, whose situation is shady too, coming for Jonathan simply because he didn't correct her when she said baby mama. Mika ain't told us for sure if she got 2 different baby daddies. She ain't cleared that up. She said, oh, I don't know right now if the baby mama is the mother or the wife. I don't know. We don't know if you got 2 baby daddies. You ain't cleared that up with us either. Let me tell you something about Mika. Mika better watch out because she's the type of woman that gets the manosphere on her. She looks good. She's very pretty, but she gets the manosphere turned on her because of her story, y'all. Her story ain't a good story. Her story's not a good story. Remember, she was the one on here talking about she got flued out, but she thought that was a good story to tell. She's also the one who wants to chase after Dominique, but Dominique he wants 2 to 10 kids, but Mika don't even want no kids, but she's still chasing after Dominique. That ain't a good look either. Now she over here doing this thing with Jonathan, and I'm telling you, this thing that she's doing with Jonathan is not a good look either. Then I'm telling you, when I was watching that exit interview on Little Black Book Kojo, and DeMonte was, getting the interview, it was Mika who was down in the comments clowning DeMonte the whole time. She was trolling him in the comments. I didn't like that. I don't like Mika. I think is ghetto. I do. I think she's ghetto. I think she's another person. When we're talking about look in the mirror, I've been telling you this, y'all. A lot of people on this show don't look in the mirror. And I'm going to put Mika in that category. Because she got a whole lot of shade for everybody else. She got shade for DeMonte. She was trolling him. She got shade for Jonathan. She was trolling him. But truth of the matter is, Mika's stuff ain't on point either. It is not on point. The only thing on point on Mika is that face. She is delivering face and she is delivering body. Absolutely. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to say. Is Mika knock-kneed or pigeon-toed? You know what? I'm not going to get down in it. But when they show the full body shot of Mika walking, something about Mika said, is she knock-kneed or is she pigeon-toed? So she definitely delivering face. She is delivering face. But let me tell you, keep it cute, ladies. Don't go in other people's backyards because we all got skeletons. And there's a whole lot of stuff they can pick out on Mika. A whole lot. She needs to stop coming for people. She really needs to stop coming for people. And when Koshia was getting in with Alexis, it was Mika who was also trying to chime in and get on Alexis too. She really was. Mika need to sit on over there. No, Mika, stay out of it. Because let me tell you, your house is made of glass too. So I know she's trying to say that Jonathan got red flags and he's lying and he's all that. You know what? I'm not giving up on Jonathan yet. Not yet. I'm going to see what Jonathan does next week with this thing with Alexis, where he all of a sudden pulls Alexis and Alexis is straddling him. I think that's inappropriate. That's out of pocket. Clearly, Alexis is uncomfortable with it. And guess who are the two men that come to Alexis's rescue? Did y'all see the full clip? Guess who are the two men that come to Alexis and rescues her and rescues her off of Jonathan, who grabbed her? The two men are Alonzo, who I'm telling you I like. Alonzo got a good soul. And the other person is Will, who comes and rescues her, because I think Will and Alexis are going to be Bonnie and Clyde. Bonnie and Clyde. Alexis sat up there and told Will, I had to fight for you. She said, I had to fight for you to keep you alive, because I think one of the things of why she and Koshia were arguing was because I think Koshia put Will on her bottom. I don't think Koshia put Lamar on her bottom. I think a lot of women put Lamar on their bottom, but I think it was Koshia who didn't. And I think Koshia came from Will. And when she came for Will, Alexis says, no, you ain't taking out my man. You not taking out my man. Lamar is the worst person on this show, but who you gonna put on the bottom is Will. I think Koshia put Will on the bottom from the very first episode when she stopped liking Will, when Will called Koshia on her stuff. Because remember, Koshia said, I got married and I didn't know I married a man and I didn't know he had 4 kids. And remember, Will was the one who said, Koshia, what, was the ding-a-ling that good? Like I told you, what triggers Koshia is when someone tells her about herself. That's what triggers her. Anytime you tell her about herself, she gonna go the hell off on you. It was when Alonzo told her, well, it was immature of you. That's what bothered her. When Will called out what I also said, how could you marry a man with 4 kids and not know? That's what triggered her for the pit bull, right? And then in this episode, when Alexis called her out on the fact that you have a problem with a lot of men on this show, you don't get along with anyone, that triggered her. Koshia does not like constructive criticism. She don't even like it when it's delivered nicely. Y'all keep thinking it's the messenger. A lot of people out here still protecting Koshia, saying, well, it's the messenger. Nah, it ain't the messenger. It's the message, period. She don't like the message. It don't matter how you deliver it. She don't like the message because Koshia don't want to grow and learn. Koshia want to stay the teacher. Koshia want to stay the instructor. Like Koshia said, I was raised to be a mother and a wife. She want to be raised being the boss. And let me tell you this about Koshia. How was Koshia raised to be a mother and a wife? Her story don't add up either. It really don't. Because here, I got questions too. Everybody's into, I need to find out, was Jonathan married or was Jonathan's mother the baby? Let's find out some of these stories about these women with these baby daddies. Let's look into these stories. Why we ain't getting no details on that? Koshia, you just said you married a man and you learned within a few months that he had 4 kids. Did you divorce him? That would mean that the children you have are not his kids. So, do you have another husband? Were you married twice, divorced twice? Who are the father of your children? Children, are they the same father? Were you married to them? Or is this man that had the 4 kids a second husband? Or when you were you married him and you found out he for 4 kids, did you stay with him and then end up having 2 kids with him? What's the whole story? See, what I'm saying is everybody want to get on these men on the outside, pick on them. They dusties, this. But when you start peeling back these layers on these women, I got a lot of questions for them too. I got a lot of questions for them as well. Just like Vanessa. I know a lot of people got Vanessa on their top. Vanessa's not on my top. She's out. Sorry, people. She is out in my book. And let me tell you what put the nail in the coffin for me with Vanessa. Okay. When Vanessa first came on the show, I didn't like the story she told about her white husband. I don't care if that man is white. I thought that was rude. I thought it was rude to be talking about that white man like that, talking about, I need a man that's more revolutionary, blah, 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 blah. Girl, you married him and you had kids with him, kid or kids, I don't know. Sound like Vanessa got 2 baby daddies in her life too. Her kids are real far apart and it doesn't sound like she was married to that man that long. So who knows? I don't know. But she got 2 kids, one's 5, one's 16. Was she married for 16 years? I don't think she was. I don't. I think she got 2 baby daddies too. So anyway, I didn't like the story she told about that man, that father, coming into this scene. I thought it was unnecessary. I thought she brought up that whole revolutionary Black Panther. I didn't like none of that. None of it whatsoever. But I overlooked it. But then what I didn't like about her was I didn't like her customer service. She came in here being a flight attendant. I thought she was she was rude and she couldn't even have a simple conversation with men when she didn't like what the men were saying. I thought, dang, can't you just be pleasant? Can't you just be kind? You a flight attendant. You should have a lot of practice smiling at people you don't like. You should have a lot of practice dealing with people who you may not like the words coming out their mouth, but you know how to smile, be professional, and get the job done. There was a job to do on this show, and that was to stay on the show. And I thought, hey, you know what? Why don't she know how to get the job done? But then she redeemed herself. She came back. I was happy. She had better customer service. I was like, I'm going to give Vanessa another chance. She's definitely pretty, y'all. She's pretty. But let me tell you where the nail got put in the coffin this episode. After that little dinner party Chaz had, Chaz's house was nice. It was really nice. He's 47 years old. So I'm glad to see that he's done something for himself, that he has a house. And it looks like he takes care of business in that area. So anyway, they had this party over at the house with Vanessa, and Vanessa was there. And Vanessa like, I'm gonna hang back. I'm gonna hang back in this house. And they got over there and sat on that couch. And she's like, well, I'm gonna get up underneath these covers. You mind if I put these covers over me? She got real comfortable. And the thing that came out of Vanessa's mouth was, she said to Chaz, I guess she thought it was a romantic line. Tells you how out of touch she is. She says, you know, a lot of men need a whole lot of reassurance, but it looks like you don't. Is that how she said it? No, she said, certain men, let me look at my notes. She said, certain men need a lot of reassurance, but I don't think you're that way. That's why, and basically saying that's why she likes him. Girl, every man needs reassurance. They may not say it out loud, but they all need it. So if you ain't in the business of stroking egos, then you ain't in the business of being a wife. Because woo. I got on DeMonte on his exit interview, and I told him he had that smoke detector beeping in the background of the interview. And I said, DeMonte, a manhood, husbandhood 101 is taking out the trash, making sure all the doors and windows are locked at night so the women are safe in the house. And thirdly, is changing the battery on the smoke detector. Vanessa, you've been a whole wife, girl. And you don't know that wifehood 101 is reassuring and stroking the ego of your man. No wonder you divorced. Girl, that's wifehood 101. Wifehood 101. It is your job. Not just to be stroking out something else, but to be stroking that ego, because men need stroking. I don't know how women miss this. I don't know. I know men put on a big brave front in public and they don't need nobody and they're this and they're that and they're big and they're tough. Let me tell you something. Men need the stroking of the ego, especially of their wife. They may not need it from every woman out here in the street, but they need it from their wife. They need the reassurance from their wife. It is paramount. It is very, very important in a marriage. And the minute you don't do it, or the minute you don't do enough of it, or whatever else the case may be, that's when it's going to be problems in your marriage. They need a lot. Where are my married people? Married women, please drop down in the comments and please tell this girl Vanessa that men, husbands, need a lot of stroking of the ego. They need reassurance. They need edifying. They need to be built up. And this is what I'm saying about these women walking around out here talking about, I want to be a Michelle and Barack Obama. I don't want to settle. I don't want to be building up no man. I don't want to have to stroke his ego. I don't want to have to reassure him on anything. They ain't going to make it. They ain't going to make it in this world. They not going to make it in this world of wifehood, because if you don't want to do none of that, you can't be no wife. And I'm not talking about some real insecure man. I'm not talking about that. And that's not what she was talking about. Let's be real. She ain't got no good customer service. It's in line with everything else I said. She didn't want to have nothing sweet to say to Alonzo when she was talking to him. She didn't want to have no conversation. She over here talking nasty about the baby daddy. And now she sit here in front of this man's face and says, you don't sound like a man that needs a lot of reassurance. Nah, like I said, a lot of the women are really pretty on the outside, but on the inside, I'm not feeling it. Not feeling it one bit. And to be honest with you, Chaz ain't on my top either no more, y'all. You know what I didn't like about Chaz? I'm not going to put him all the way out. But with Justin, that was his name. When Justin came to the party, one thing I can say, maybe Chaz was a little bit perturbed because Chaz is like, I didn't invite this man. Who is this man? But then we come to find out that the person invited him was Patrice. So he should have been mad at Patrice. But anyway, so Justin gets there and Justin says, oh, I'm from, I don't know, Mississippi, Alabama. I don't know, somewhere down south. And he's, oh yeah, my grandfather was the mayor of Watsonville, the town I'm from. And Chaz was like, why you got to lead with that? Ugh. That's kind of petty, Chaz. Even if Justin was puffing out his chest. Let's just say he was. Let's just say he was name dropping or he was puffing out his chest. Let's just say that he was. Is it Chaz's job to check Justin? Two dudes here, both of these men are trying to like these women or get these women to like them. Is it Chaz's job to check Justin in that moment? Nah. See, Vanessa's over here thinking you don't need no reassurance because she thinks Chaz is over here this wonderful, reassured man. And he just proved he ain't even all that assured. Because why you got to check Justin on that? Are you threatened? He was. Because when Justin walked up in that house, Koshia ran over there to him like a puppy dog. Okay. Patrice invited him. Chaz thought he was going to be the big man in his own house. This is my house. I'm the king of this castle. And you going to bring this man, this other dog up in my house. And you think he going to run around in my house? Nah, I'm going to check him. And that was Chaz's way, in his own little way of checking Justin. But here you got Vanessa over here talking about most men need a lot of reassurance, but you don't. Girl, like I said, you don't know men. They all need it. Even that man you sitting across from needs reassurance. He needs so much reassurance that when this other man came in his house and all that man did was mention that his grandfather was a mayor of some Hobunk town, Chaz had to check him on that. Really? This is what you bucking up over, Chaz? And you think he don't need no reassurance, Vanessa? Like I said, Vanessa ain't ready. She ain't ready. Wifehood 101. Stroke the ego. They all need reassurance. The only person that could have even maybe been with Chaz or was, like I said, was Laylan. They was kind of closer in age, but Laylan didn't like none of these people. She must have saw it in Chaz on her own. She started trying to cry and act like, oh, I'm so sad I have to leave, but it was not no watery eyes around. Laylan was not sad about leaving this show, not at all. Because she wasn't even interested in Chaz, because she probably saw in Chaz what I just saw in him. And I don't know why everybody don't like Will. I know Patrice told that story when she was talking to Will, and Will said, oh, I'm over here staging a house. And then he mentioned something about sleeping on, I'm about to get a blanket and sleep on the floor. Patrice missed it. She missed it. Now they over here trying to act like Will is dusty with no money and broke. I don't think he is. Because let me tell you something. Remember that outfit that Will had on the first episode, that little crochet top? I didn't like it. I didn't really like the crochet top, but I could tell that it was not an inexpensive item. Just because things cost money don't mean I gotta like it. But I could tell it wasn't an inexpensive item. And I'm gonna tell you what I think that Patrice missed with Will. When Will was explaining to her that he's a real estate developer, because that's what he said, he's in real estate development. Y'all know I have an extensive background in real estate. So when he was talking about, I'm over at this house, staging this house. Maybe it's a house that he built. Maybe it's a project. Maybe it's a flip. I don't know what it is. But he's talking about staging a house. Been there, done that. Know what it looks like, Will. I know how much work it is. I know you're up against a deadline. Typically, staging is the last step before you're ready to put the house on the market. And normally you're behind because your schedule done got behind. So now when staging happens, you're trying to do a whole lot in a little bit of time because you're trying to get this house on the market. You're trying to sell this house. And what I imagined Will's story was this, because it was late at night. It wasn't in the middle of the day. It was late at night. What Will was trying to show Patrice was he was low-key bragging and saying, look how hard I'm working. I'm over here at 9, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, and I'm still working. This is the picture he was actually trying to paint for Patrice. And he said, I'm over here working 9, 10 o'clock at night because I'm an entrepreneur. This is my business. I do what I got to do to get the job done. And I'm so tired that I don't even want to drive home. Who knows where this house is that he's staging? It could be an hour away from where his apartment or his home is. You know how many times I might have slept in a house I was working on? Because you are working late into the night, and then you know you got to be right back over there early in the morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. So you know what you say? You know what? I'm going to sleep over here. I'm going to just sleep here. Because it ain't no reason for me to leave here now at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, drive an hour home, and then come back. So what he said to her, this is my story. This is what I think. What he said was, I might just sleep here, get a blanket, and sleep on this floor. And what Patrice did, Patrice ran with that and basically was calling him a dusty, or he's broke, or he's homeless. That told me something about Patrice. You see, when you've never been somewhere, the stories don't make sense to you because you don't know the world. So when someone tells you, I'm going to sleep on the floor with a blanket in a house that I have developed and I'm staging, and you take that to mean I'm homeless, it's the same thing that Mika did. That you automatically assumed that when I talk about my child and the woman I had a child with, that she was a baby mama and not a wife. That tells me more about you, right? Because people speak from their experience. That's the first thing they're going to think. So when I heard it from, just like I'm speaking from my experience, when I heard Will, who I know is a real estate developer, say to Patrice on the phone, I might just get a blanket and lay on the floor, I don't think homeless. I think of my experience. If I'm on the phone with Will and Will tells me that story, I say, oh, I know I've been there. I know when you tired and you like, I would have said the same story I just told y'all. I wouldn't have thought that he was homeless because we know that he ain't homeless. We know that. So why would you say that, Patrice? Remember, Patrice was the one saying she driving 45 minutes to meet men, which means she might have been dealing with some men who were more lower caliber. Maybe that's why that was the first thought out her mind. And then next thing you know, who else is going along with it? Koshia. Oh, he gonna get you a pallet to sleep on. Like I said, people speak from their experiences. And we shouldn't always speak. Like I said, I could be wrong about Will. He could be broke. That's why I'm not saying that my experience is correct, but it does tend to be our first thoughts. And then what you do is you should bring more information in, but you shouldn't just indict him over it. You shouldn't all of a sudden be calling him broke just because your limited experience, that's what you see. Maybe you should ask more questions. That's what I said before. What was the problem with Koshia? She don't ask no questions. They do a whole lot of talking, no questions asking. So with Patrice, I'm going to have to take a few points off of that, Patrice. You didn't see it. I don't think you saw it correctly. And I think you caused a little bit of a mess with it more than you should have. Now, I see that she likes Alonzo, and I actually think, you know what, they look pretty good together. I like Alonzo, like I said. I like that Alonzo apologizes. I think Alonzo makes a lot of mistakes, but Alonzo, I think, has good comeback. That's what I like about people who make mistakes. What they need to have then is they need to have good comebacks, good recovery. And I think what Alonzo does is he makes mistakes, but he has good recovery. And I think that Patrice can probably have some patience for Alonzo. I do. I think she can have patience for Alonzo. And I think she's older than Alonzo. So she might be able to work with Alonzo because I think that, I don't know, I can see them working. I can see their little system working. I can see it falling apart later on if Alonzo doesn't mature fast enough for Patrice, and Patrice wants a little bit more maturity later on. Maybe in the beginning it's fun for her. It's light. It's fun. I think she's going to see the heart in Alonzo that I see in Alonzo. I think Alonzo has a good heart. I think she's going to be drawn to that and attracted to that. If anything later on becomes of it, it may be that these immature parts of Alonzo, he doesn't grow up fast enough for her so that he satisfies those other womanly parts that she needs, because she does need that. She doesn't want a little boy. She doesn't want to take care of a man, right? So she's going to want him to step up in those areas. And the question will be, will he be able to do? I'm going to give Alonzo a chance because I've seen good recovery from Alonzo. I've seen Alonzo learn from his mistakes, right? So I'm going to give him a chance to mature. And maybe Patrice is the right woman for that because she does seem to have a bit of patience in that area. But I think she read Will wrong. I think she read him wrong. But it don't matter because Alexis says that's okay. I got my eyes on Will. Will calls me every day. He's intentional. I like Will. Alexis was just trying to keep Will on this show. She was like, listen, let me tell you something. You better take control of your own narrative because there's some people coming for you. And if you want to stay on this show and I want you to stay on the show, you need to clean up this act. You need to clean up a little bit of what you're doing. And honestly, y'all, I didn't have no problem with that. I know what Tommy says was said in the lounge stays in the lounge, right? I do agree with that. But from what I can see, she did not specifically say this woman said this, this woman said this, this woman said this. I don't think that's what Alexis did. Because even Koshia said it wasn't stuff that was said in the lounge that was taken back. She said it was just the overall sentiment of Will. And I could imagine that Will and Alexis are talking every day. And I can imagine Alexis saying, I like you a lot, you know, and everything. But you might go home because there's a lot of women that are not really feeling you and you're not playing the game right. I could see Alexis trying to coach Will and say, you need to change your story, your narrative, because right now your story is not good. And the reason why I don't think Alexis actually said people's names was because at the elimination dinner she had with him, he was a bit shocked at even being there, which tells me I don't think that she mentioned all the names. So I actually don't have a problem with Alexis telling Will, hey, I'm going to tell you this. You don't have the best image. You really don't. And you better change your narrative because this is the overall sentiment of you and you need to do better. Because like I said, people need constructive criticism. They really do. And I think that's what Alexis gave Will. But the reason why Koshia don't like it is because like I told you, Koshia don't like constructive criticism. So Koshia was mad at Alexis because what Alexis did was Alexis gave Will constructive criticism and said, hey, your image is bad. You need to take control of your image because you got a bad image with the women. You need to clean this up. But Koshia, on the other hand, she don't like constructive criticism. And obviously she don't want anyone giving it to Will either. So when she brought that little tidbit back to the deliberation room and called out Alexis, she must not have knew who Alexis really, really was. She must not have known who Alexis really, really was because Alexis delivered in that fight. Alexis delivered. What Alexis didn't do which I was glad she did not defend herself on giving that constructive criticism will. She sure did not. She sure did not. Alexis went on the attack and she went low. Boy, did she get low. She darn near called Koshia a slut. Woo! Alexis went low to the ground. She hit below the belt on Koshia, and I even think Koshia was stunned. Not only do I not, wait a minute, let me not say I think Koshia was stunned. Koshia was absolutely stunned at the low blow of Alexis. Now, this is what I'm going to say about a fight like this. This is what I'm going to say about a fight like this. When you come around and you start fights, you can't play victim on the back end. Just because you brought a knife and the other person who came to fight with you brought a gun, you can't then claim the victim, because this is what happened. Even in that fight, this is what Koshia does. Koshia comes with a knife and then she gets taken out with a gun. Because with Alonzo, the knife that she brought to that fight with Alonzo was when she mushed Alonzo and she was sunning Alonzo. When Alonzo met back up with her again on that phone, you know what Alonzo did? Alonzo pushed all the buttons he knew that would trigger her, called her immature, got up underneath her skin, and she blew up and went off on Alonzo, the Pomeranian. She blew up and had to walk out. She can't keep her exposure. She can't concentrate. She can't think things through. She's so emotional. Let me tell you, she's so emotional, she don't even know how to fight well. Then next thing you know, she come over here with Alexis. She brings the knife to the fight, calls out Alexis in the deliberation room, says Alexis was over here giving, Will some constructive criticism, some heads up, so he could do better to stay on the show. And I didn't like that. I didn't like it because she don't like Will, and she probably want Will off the show. So she didn't like the constructive criticism that Alexis was doing for Will, trying to fight for Will. So then what does she do? She comes for Alexis in the fight. But guess what? She brought the knife and Alexis brought the gun. Alexis went below the belt and fired off some shots on Koshia, told Koshia, you don't get along with nobody. You don't like none of the men. You the problem. You see that flip? Koshia tried to come in and tell Alexis she was the problem. Alexis said, nah, sis, you the problem. And Alexis, what she did was she brought in all the history of Koshia. She ran down all her history, everything she's done. She started rattling it off. Rattling off. You know what they say, a hit dog will holler. I don't know how much of what Alexis was saying was true, but obviously this ain't the beginning of their feud. This is not the beginning of their feud. You could tell, because even Koshia said Alexis can't help but to be messy, which means that there's something before that Alexis has said to Koshia or vice versa that has already proven these two don't like each other. They don't like each other before this moment. And what Alexis did was run down all Koshia's problems. You don't get along with no man. This man you got a problem with. This man you got a problem with. This man you got a problem with. And then Koshia goes to, well, don't be mad because you got a little 12-year-old body. Don't be mad because you don't have a 12-year-old body. And Koshia went around, well, if you wouldn't use your body and over-sexualize your body for everything, woo, woo, woo. And I don't know if Koshia does it or not, but obviously she's done something that Alexis doesn't like. And Alexis went for the jugular. And let me tell you something, what I believe. I believe there's some truth in some of the stuff Alexis is talking about with Koshia. Some of it might be just some fighting words to talk, but some of it was truth. And that's the reason why Koshia lost it. She lost it because a hit dog will holler, and some of them punches that Alexis was throwing, they landed. They landed on Koshia, and Koshia had to get up and walk away. One thing we know about Koshia is when the punches start landing, she gonna get up and walk away. When anybody starts making a point about her, that's true. She can no longer scream and yell. She gonna have to get up and walk away. She did it with Alfonso. She had to get up and walk away. She did it with Alexis. Them punches was landing. She had to get up and walk away. And in that last date she had with Lamar, when Lamar told her, watch your tone. Don't sit over here and act like I'm some little school kid and you got to talk to me like that. Guess what she had to do? Walk away. Because a lot of men have talked about Koshia being controlling, being bossy, being guarded. And the minute she's told about herself, she got to get up and walk away. This is why I said she ain't going to never grow. She ain't going to never grow because Koshia's either barking, yelling and screaming at the men, Or when anyone finally starts telling her about herself, those few people who stand up to her, she gets so enraged listening to it, she gets up and walks away. Either way, she ain't gonna never hear it. She ain't gonna never hear it. And when them punches start landing, because she ain't got but one thing, that's what she said to Alexis. That girl better shut her mouth up because she don't want to hear it. See, that's why she got so frustrated, because she couldn't control Alexis's mouth. And that's what Koshia needs to do. She needs to overtalk you so you can't talk. Then once you do start talking and landing any punches, then she needs to get up and walk away. And then, like she said to Alexis, that girl needs to shut her mouth. Because I'm telling you, when Koshia starts to hear anything about herself, she can't listen to it. She gets so frustrated. That's why she got up and walked away and was crying. She was frustrated. She was frustrated because them punches was landing. They was landing and wasn't nothing she could do about it. Nothing. She was frustrated that she was in a fight for her life and she was losing. She trying to act like she had to get up and walk away because if she didn't, she would have beat Alexis's butt. No, she wouldn't beat Alexis's butt. Absolutely not. She sure wouldn't have. Don't believe it. I don't believe it one bit. When Koshia loses the fight verbally, that's it. Ain't nothing left. That's what she does. She fights verbally and then she walks away. She used all her tricks and it didn't work on Alexis. Alexis stood her ground. Alexis didn't even have to stand up and stand her ground. Alexis sat down and stayed sat down and handled Koshia. And Koshia didn't know what to do with herself. Just like when she was eliminating Lamar, and Lamar said to her, when she was saying to Lamar, well, I don't want to speak for other women. He says, well, you just did. You just did. You know, she didn't buck up on Lamar because she know Lamar got a whole lot in the tank. You talk about disrespectful. He's absolutely the person you don't want to get no verbal argument because he will destroy you. Lamar will destroy you. He's got disrespect running through his veins. That's what his blood says, disrespect. He had a whole lot more for Koshia. So Koshia's better. Koshia did the right thing and backed down from Lamar because he had a whole lot to come after her with. Because he was baiting her when he said, well, you just did. And she backed the hell up. She was even trying to talk sweet to Lamar. Well, if I could pause you for a second. What? What's all this talk, Koshia? You know why? Because she respected Lamar. She did. Remember, with Lamar, she was saying, well, if I was with you, Lamar, I would have been bent over and assed up. Remember, she said that about Lamar. But when Alonzo was talking about sexual stuff, she felt disrespected. Come to find out, it was never about the sex. It was about because he called her immature. You see, the sexual innuendos was never the problem. It was because he called her immature. He said something about her. Because I come to find out over here, she don't really seem upset about Lamar. I don't think Lamar was on her bottom. I think she was gunning for Will to be gone. That's why Alexis had to fight so hard for Will. Because Koshia voted for Will to be gone over Lamar, which tells you something. That's why when she's sitting here at the end of the episode, talking all sweet to Lamar, talking about, can I pause you for a second? Because she got a respect for Lamar. You know why? Because she has seen Lamar be disrespectful and handle women. And what she knows is she can't handle Lamar. Lamar would have tore her up. So she sat in her place. She even walked out of there with them thorny roses he brought. When she said to him, well, I can't speak for other women, he said, well, you just did. Her mouth dropped. But guess what? Nothing came out of it. It dropped. She probably was excited about it. She probably was a bit turned on about it because what Koshia one of them women that walk around saying, I need a man that can handle me. Remember I used to talk about them women too? I need a man that can handle me because the women know they pop off and they need a man who's going to handle them and put them down. Right? Wrestle them down on the ground when I talk, not physically, but figuratively. That's what Koshia needs. When I saw Koshia and Lamar sitting across from the table, you know what I said? That's who Koshia really wants to be with. A man like Lamar who will handle her mouth and put her down. She don't respect the nicer people like the Alfonso. I think she must have thought that Lexus was nice. She doesn't respect people like that. She'll run over him. That's why she's about to run over LaRon. She's about to run over LaRon. She tried to do it when she was up in his face in the first episode. But I think that Koshia only respects people like Lamar. Men like Lamar. That's what I think. That's who I think she respects. Men who can handle her. But anyway, that's it, y'all. I know I talked a long time. Drop down the comments. I know there's a whole lot I said a lot of people disagree with. I'm interested in hearing what y'all think. Anyway, that's it, y'all. Talk to you later. Bye.